Hey, it's Russ and Lauren. Today is Vinyl Sunday, and we have a special one today because if you've been a fan of this channel for any amount of time, you know I loves me an audiophile pressing of things. And I've gone into all the details why in the past, but the spoiler alert on this video, this release we're going to talk about today checks all of my boxes for why I love audiophile pressings. We are going to discuss the most recent pressing of the debut LP from Matchbox 20, Yourself or Someone Like You. I have the Matchbox 20 vinyl box set. I'm not the world's biggest fan, but I wanted to be like, hey, I have the box set before I say what I'm about to say. This is not a record I ever expected to get the audiophile treatment.
Okay.
Okay. Now, and if you've watched the channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a huge like Run DMC fan. It was in my 5 albums that impacted my life the most video. I never expected Run DMC Raising Hell to get audiophile treatment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you've been in the audiophile circle long enough, it's at the risk of being offensive, it's always the same records. Hotel California, Dark Side of the Moon, Asia by Steely Dan, Supertramp. Like, you know, it's like, oh, look, another, you know, and I like that we're moving forward. So like, I'm a huge fan of all that other stuff too, but I like that we're moving forward. Right. So when I heard about this, I was like, really? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I remember that.
Yeah. And I was pretty stoked about it. So, and then for you've talked about this on the channel before. This is the first CD you ever bought with your own money.
That is correct, sir. Yes, this actually is one of the albums that changed my life.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool the way this whole thing works out. So when we go through our vinyl videos, we will have a bunch of supporting pictures overlaid and whatnot. So if you're new to the channel, it's not just going to be the two of us yakking. We're going to be yakking, but there's also going to be pictures to support what we're talking about. Like I said, this is almost like a checklist of things that I love. We go through the same things every time, starting with packaging. I could write a book about how I love albums that are packaged well. Like, remember when it was delivered and I handed it to you and you had one hand out and I was like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you're going to need 2 hands for this.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Like, not to be a jerk, but like, because of the weight. And when you grabbed it with 2 hands, you were like, whoa. I was like, yeah.
Heft.
It's not just that it's 2 LPs. It's that the jacket is really thick, like super thick cardboard, super glossy. Like, it's just, you know, I know there's a lot of differing opinions on Jack White, but Jack White talked once about why people love vinyl as much as they do, and it's like the reverence for the music. And as someone who that was the first CD you ever bought, I know we still have the CD that you bought, but like this presents this album in a whole different echelon, I guess. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It takes it up a level for sure, you know, and it's very interesting because I remember, you know, 1996, like I poured through that CD booklet like so much that it's ripped on the top, and I can tell you I had a hard time getting it back into the jewel case because I ripped it in such a way. Sure. But it was very cool to me to see this thing that I was, you know, had memorized front to back, bigger and given this the reverence that I was like you were saying that I never thought that this would get this thing that, you know, I found on my own.
And to be clear too, we do have the Matchbox vinyl box set. There's a video for that on the channel as well. But so Lauren has seen this record on vinyl before, but this is just a whole different, and even the packaging has changed in those anyways. But for real, go look at that video if you want to know more about the box set. But this is like the original packaging the way it was. Really, the only difference is it's spread over 2 LPs for the first time ever because it's at 45 RPM, which brings us to the sound. As far as the sound goes on this, there's tons of differing opinions out there about 33 RPM versus 45 RPM, and like, you know, is it worthwhile to even deal with 45 RPM? Some of it is beauty is in the ear. You know what I mean? Like some people are just going to be like, that sounds the same to me, you know, but that's how everything is too, you know? And then other people have their own valid arguments. Like they don't want to get up and run across the room.
They are lazy.
Right. Well, and, you know, no, but you know, I mean, you've probably seen this. People build like, besides theater rooms, people build music listening rooms, you know, where they're on purpose sitting, you know, 30, 40 feet away from these speakers. We sit about 7 feet away from our speakers at a bar top and bar stool. So like the two of us are like always almost standing up anyways, when we're listening to music. So for me, I feel like I can hear the difference between 33 and 45, and it's not an inconvenience for me at all. So I would rather have the 45 RPM version. As far as the sound of the record goes, I think this is far and away the best that this album is ever going to sound, not just has sounded, but going to.
Probably.
And I wanted you to talk a little bit about, because this is the first thing you like. Again, I'm not the world's, I don't know everything about Matchbox 20. But I like a lot of their stuff. For me, this record was the singles record. So when I was a kid and I had it on CD, I listened to 3 AM, Real World, Back to Good, I think it was a single of this. And then of course Push, right? You, though, on the other hand, like every song that started when we were listening to this, you're like, oh, this is my jam.
I know.
You know, whereas like I'm kind of standing there being like, this will be fun for me to hear this song for the first time. So having listened to it either on your original CD or streaming your whole life, and we have the single LP, which you've heard some, but like, what was the experience that you had listening to this?
I mean, this is going to sound like a cliche thing for me to say, because I've probably said something similar before here on the channel, but it was very much like hearing it for the first time again, because I like I said, I memorized that CD booklet and I memorized the entire album, and I was hearing things that were nowhere in my memory.
Yeah,
because
there was at least, I don't want to overstate this, so, and I'm not being funny, tell me if I'm overstating this. I feel like at least once per song you were like, oh, I never heard that before. Yeah. Or you were like, oh, listen, do you hear that? And I was, and again, if I don't know that, if it wasn't Push, I'd be like, yeah, I hear that. And you're like, well, I've never heard that before. I did at least once a song.
It was at least once a song.
Yeah. So the sound was great, even from a casual fan to a diehard fan of this particular record. The sound, fantastic. Value. Again, I'm going to start this off the same way we start off all of our value conversations, which is we will never tell you how to spend your money, but we did. We spent our money on this. So there's no nice way around this. This is a $75 record. One album for $75. If you bought the album on CD in 95 or when it came out, 1996, and you bought it off of Best Buy end cap for $9.99 or whatever else, and you thought that was pricey, you are out of this conversation. You know what I mean?
Even with inflation.
Yeah. Like, you do not want to pay $75 for this. So I always put, like, full disclosure, I'm the one that was like, oh my Lord, we need that. And I'm the one that bought this. If it were up to you, if I had said to you, hey, there's a $75 pressing, I know it's the first Matchbox record, first CD you ever bought, and you even got to hear it first, would you pay that for it, or would you let me pay for it and then you benefit?
No, I would pay for this.
After hearing it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't blind buy it, though. I don't think I could be like, could I be like, there's a $75 pressing and it's good enough to where you'd probably want to buy it? Or do you think you
I don't know.
But having heard it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Even me, it would take a lot for me to be like, oh yeah, I'll just totally blind buy that. Like, this was mostly like, oh, well, Lauren loves that. You know what I mean? So like, I was going to get it for you anyways. So, but yeah, so for value, again, if you're an audiophile and you even have a little bit of affection for this record, I think this is the way to hear it. I never try and talk about records as an investment for a lot of reasons, but if you know the history of Analogue Productions, it'll probably go up in value anyway. So it's not like you're buying something that's going to like go down in value. So I personally think the value is there. So hopefully you have enjoyed our look at the Matchbox 20 Analogue Productions 2 LP 45 RPM pressing. We try and include pictures of things we're talking about when we're doing the videos, and we try and include the points we think will be important to people who may be wanting to buy this, or if you have it and you're looking for somebody else's opinion. But by all means, that's why the good Lord made the comment section. So if you have questions or comments, or if you think I'm nuts for buying a record for $75 or anything along those lines, by all means, drop it down below and we'll be happy to get back to you. If you're in vinyl forums or Matchbox groups or whatever else, please by all means share this video out, because that does help the channel grow. If nothing else, drop a like on the video, because I know you hear this in every YouTube video, but I swear every little click of like helps, and it's free. So by all means, please do that for us. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.